Dude, you guys don't understand what's happening. And you think you're going to passively sort of allow, someone else is going to handle it. It's not going to happen. No one else is going to handle it. You have to stand up for your kids. You have to stand up for your future. You have to stand up for your friends. They are too weak to say anything. Okay? It's you. And that's the problem here. Everybody's looking around saying, well, it's this guy's job, or it's that guy's job, or, Ian Smith's standing up. These politicians are standing up. Yeah. Andy's saying this. Dr. Ben's saying this. Blah, blah. You need to say it. And you need to do it.
Told my teacher, dumb bitch, I'm gonna get millions. Watch this. In the project living. Damn. Spoke it till existence. Voila. More change than 50. Got more cars than Diddy. I only weigh 180, but my watch cost 250.
What's up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society. And welcome to motherfucking reality. Guys, today we have a full-length show with an amazing guest. An amazing guest that all of you guys who like to ask me if I'm a fucking doctor are going to be really pissed off because I brought in one of the most vocal, outspoken, and factually correct doctors that I know. But before I introduce him, I would like to introduce my brother. He still doesn't have a good nickname. I'm willing to take applications for his nickname. Be sure to send them to me. Well, what would you like your nickname to be, sir?
I'm still the most handsome guy in the room. It's a great, it's a great title. I don't know if it's a nickname.
Highly arguable.
That's very debatable.
How is it debatable?
I'm not saying you're not a handsome dude. I'm just saying we're all pretty good looking here, especially Madot.
Can we call him the Matthew McConaughey of fitness? I think that's a good.
I'll take that. I don't know. He
DJ,
wrote a great book.
Way too much credit, bro.
I didn't say. I feel like credit. You would have to think.
Before we get into the show, I got to ask you, dude.
What's up?
Because I know you're down right now.
Oh, fuck.
I know you're upset and I know you're frustrated and I got to know what it's like to lose the 2021 chef who wore a better hat
you see that? Debate.
Okay. We put a side by side of DJ in a chef hat and we put a picture of Chef from South Park right next to him. Okay. And we had a little poll on my page.
I got to put it up, man.
And in the poll, believe it or not, DJ fucking lost. What?
I won.
How did you lose that?
No, it was 68% me. Who wore it better? 68% was me.
Yeah, but by today's standards, that means you lost the election. So how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel to have
CNN counted
the
that.
20? Are you going to come back in 2022?
I think so.
Are you gonna run again?
I think I got a strong chance.
Chef is one of the most underrated characters probably in all time.
Bro, it's tough.
I know. What's it? But so, are you upset that CNN declared him the winner, bro? At 30, he got 33% and you got the rest.
There you go, Sal.
There it is right there. 30, Chef got 32 and you could see he's the clear winner.
Can you sing like Chef?
Hey, I think we need an audit.
I'm just saying my chocolate salty balls are better.
Hey,
you need a deeper voice.
I don't know.
He's got bass.
Hello, children.
Hello, children. All right, guys. Let me know when you want to set up that audit. I'm happy to help. Now, for our awesome guest that I'm so excited to have, a member of the Disinformation Dozen, I am very upset that I didn't make that list. I got to be honest, because this whole year and the last year, I've been spitting fucking facts and data, and I've gotten called all the bad names, and I get none of the fucking recognition. And this is bullshit. Ben Tapper, Dr. Ben Tapper, is here, and he stole my spot on the Disinformation Dozen.
I'm glad to be here.
What's up,
buddy.
brother?
Good to be here, man.
Man, I'm so happy to have you here. And before we even get started, I just want to say, I really, truly, personally appreciate what you've been doing. Sticking to the real science, the real data, and standing up for what's right. And in the beginning, I know this has been very hard. It was hard for me too. But, it's nice to see people starting to kind of see what's going on. Tell the people a little bit about what you do and where you're from and how we came to know each other.
Right. So I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I practice in Omaha. I just like to say that I'm a small town chiropractor and,
yep.
And basically, I've been practicing there for 10 years. And really what put me on the map was my speech in last August in Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha was one of the last towns basically to implement a mask mandate. And we were there and that's, there was a full room in that at the city council hall, and basically there was about 6 video cameras set up in news stations, and I was the only physician in opposition to the mask mandate. They had all, I think, 15 or 16 doctors there in line up to speak, and so I got up there, and I prayed God turn me into a lion and let these words travel far and wide. And I got up there and I spoke, and my wife told me, you better know what you're getting yourself into, because there's all these cameras out there. And I spoke, and, I just spoke from the heart, and just, and my convictions were greater than my complacency. I knew that I was going to face some persecution, but I just spoke the truth. And I think the people are starving for the truth. And so that video had 3 million views over 24 hours. And honestly, I didn't sleep for 5 nights after that I spoke. And I said, what did I do? I stirred the pot. And that video went all over the world. And so that's how we kind of came about. And people kind of, oh, who's this Ben Tapper guy? And, I wasn't doing it for the attention. And I really wasn't I'm not doing it for prosperity. I'm not doing it for publicity. I'm just doing it, again, because my convictions are greater than my complacency, and I just want people to see the truth. And one thing I'm not going to tolerate is the lies that's being pushed on the people.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have a lot of younger people that listen to the show, and a lot of young entrepreneurial-driven people. And one of the things that they don't have the perspective on is what it was like before this. Like, you guys who are 20 years old, you're 18, 20 years old, you have to realize that we've been through multiple pandemics in the past. And this situation that has happened, that is not normal behavior. It's never happened in my 41 years of being alive. And as far as I know, it hasn't happened since 1918. So let's talk about how we even got here. Why are we here? Right.
Well, to be honest with you, in my honest opinion, I believe that this is government overreach, but this is an agenda being pushed on the people, 100%. It's for government overreach, it's government control, and it's to get us under mandated vaccines, and it's really just a global agenda to have control over the people, and that's just a blunt way of saying it. But you mentioned 1918. There's so many parallels to even back then to today's time. I have an article in my office that talks about a lot of the fear-mongering, the propaganda that was being pushed back in the day in the Spanish flu to push an experimental vaccine. That was the first implementation of the influenza vaccine back in the Spanish flu. But the article states that, there's pictures in the article that talk about, there's people that are wearing a mask that said, wear a mask or go to jail, and it talks about quarantine, isolation, and separating from your neighbor. And literally, the article is written by B.J. Palmer, one of the developers of chiropractic, but he stated, does the mask really protect against an invisible virus? Does a hog fence stop a mosquito? You know what I mean? And it's just, if you read the article, you would think it was written in today's time. Mm-hmm. But if we back up to even, 3 to 4 years ago, we've had so many bills coming across the nation to eradicate your freedoms to refuse a vaccination and make it very difficult for the parents to opt out of vaccinations for their children. We have, most states have at least two exemptions for vaccinations, a medical and philosophical, or medical and religious. Most states have medical exemptions. A lot of parents don't know that, but we do, and they have to abide by that law. And there was a bills in California like SB 277, SB 276 that came about to try to eradicate your religious and philosophical exemptions, and it bypassed the doctor-patient relationship. And the only exemption that you can have would be approved by the state, and they only approve like 5 per county. How draconian and tyrannical is that?
It's insane.
It is 100%. It's 100%. So we started the Nebraska for Medical Freedom group in 2017 or 2016.
So this is way before this even came about.
This is before 2020.
So you've been on this for a long time.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we saw this coming. And so even in 2019, we had the World Health Organization early in 2019 stated that the greatest threat to the public are those who refuse vaccinations or those who question it.
Right. Yeah, they're preemptive conditions.
Even question it. That's a scary thing. Can you talk a little bit about, because we were saying this before we got on air, like I have a child, so I have a kid, right? Can you touch a little bit about how the pediatricians, is it really about health, or is it like you said, they're just padding their pockets? Because there's a lot of benefits that pediatricians and offices get for pushing these vaccines.
Right. So I want to make a disclaimer. Most of the pediatricians they're great people. They're awesome people. And they believe what they're doing is the best, for the children. But really I believe that they've just been indoctrinated by Big Pharma. Their continuing education is paid for by Big Pharma. Mm-hmm. But, there was a meaningful use program put in by the Obama administration. And even Doctors of Chiropractic got implemented in that program. And basically, if we submit certain demographics or characteristics about our patient base, we would get certain, and if we met that criteria, and if we're in the green, we'd got an incentive check or a bonus check. Well, these pediatricians, they would have the same thing, but it was a demographic that was related to vaccinations in their patient base. So if they had a 96% vaccine rate in their clinics, they would get, a bonus check for every patient. And so there's a massive incentive for them to push these vaccines and then, discriminate against the unvaccinated and say, no, I can't see you in my clinic because you're a threat to my patient base. But really they weren't a threat to the patient base. They're a threat to their bonus checks.
Right.
But, people say, well, that pediatrician wouldn't see me because I'm refusing vaccines. And that's why these pediatricians would be up in arms because you're refusing vaccinations. And
yeah, it's interesting too, because, people assume that all physicians are super wealthy and don't need the money and would never do anything to hurt someone for money. You know what I mean? It's like using a stereotype that already exists, which isn't true.
No. I mean, if you think about it, a doctor out of his first year is what, $300,000 in debt?
I have no idea.
So I mean, it's like, here goes some money, push these vaccines, we got you.
Well, and I mean, a lot of it's common practice over time, right? Like they train under a physician. This is what we do. This is how it works. So I mean, it's almost like keeping up. I'm curious.
Well, hold on. So I'm trying to play devil's advocate just a little bit here because the people don't understand. I want to make sure that people who are listening understand what you're saying, and what Dr. Tapper is saying here is that if Big Pharma is funding the continuing education, that means they're in control of the data that they teach. Okay. And if they can pick and choose, and the first thing you learn in any statistics class is that data can be manipulated to show literally anything you want. That's a fact. Okay. There's nearly no way for a doctor who is think about this. You're a doctor. You have to go to continuing ed. You go to continuing ed. The information fed to you is provided by the companies that build the drugs. Okay. The doctors believe that this is the best information that they can get anywhere. So they're reading these studies that are funded by Big Pharma to produce a favorable result for them. All right. And then they're taking that information and taking it to you as if it's fact. And so what you guys have to understand is that you cannot just trust the initials after someone's name. You have to look deeper than that to understand where the data is coming from. And unfortunately, that's not right. Okay. You should be able to trust what your doctor says as gold. You should be able to trust what the media says as truth. We are all being fucking manipulated here. And this is what we have to all collectively understand. These doctors, like you said, a lot of them believe they're doing the right thing because they are good-hearted people, but they are getting manipulated themselves. And that's what people are not grasping here. You have to look deeper than just the data, and you have to look where the data is coming from, and that's hard to do, especially when, like we talked before the show, the censorship issue in the world right now, it's insane.
100%.
Like, we've never had this before in the entire existence of humanity. As far as I know, this sort of censorship, at least in my lifetime, maybe, back in Nazi Germany, that's just what they did. But the thing is, guys, now you're normalized to it. Like how many of you actually notice the COVID tags or the vaccine warnings that they put on anytime you say anything about it? This is insanity what's going on. And they're making it very hard for you to find the actual data. And a logical person, which is how you need to think about this, needs to ask, why? Why are they cutting out all this other thing? And the answer that they give is, well, we can't let all this misinformation get out. But they don't have any data to back up any of the things that they're saying. So how would a normal person dig into this? Because the truth of it is right now, no matter what you say, if you don't go along with the narrative, you're going to get blasted. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're ultra right wing. You're fucking
racist.
Trump. Well, yeah, you're racist. You're all these things. if you don't go along 100% with the narrative. And what they figured out is if they shame the public doesn't want to feel bad.
Right.
And they want to just live their lives. And so you got a lot of people who are happy just to go along, thinking that if they just go along, that shit will get back to normal eventually. And guys, it won't. That's the whole point you need to understand. This has never been about true health. If it was truly about health, they would have started back in January 2020 saying, hey, start eating better, take your vitamin D, do all these things that will help improve your immune system, because we're getting ready to get hit with this thing. Okay. But they didn't do that at all. All right. Why not? Why didn't they do that? We have to ask ourselves these questions. What are they trying to hide? Why? And this is off the topic of COVID, but for example, we have the audit going on right now. This is the misinformation topic. We have an audit going on right now in multiple states, big one in Arizona. The media is completely villainizing it. If that dude really got 81 million votes, why wouldn't they be proud to show that? You have to ask yourself these things. And these are the natural questions that come to my mind. You know, I don't consider myself really affiliated with any group more so than I'm American. And I just want to know the fucking truth. And, you know, it's frustrating. So how can a regular person who is kind of like, you know, maybe they bought into this and maybe they're starting to see right now, you know, man, dude, and if that's you, by the way, hey, no harm, no foul, dude. Like, you should be able to trust the news and you should be able to trust what these doctors and everybody's saying. But I think we're all starting to see that that's not the case.
Right. 100%.
So how does a regular person start to learn about these things?
Well, first of all, shut the TV off.
Yeah.
The television is very manipulative. It's propaganda. A lot of the propaganda is fed through the television. You know, science is observational. It's what we can observe. And when someone says the science is settled, especially the vaccine issue, that's not true. That's a red flag, because science is never settled. It's observational. It's what we can observe. And so we need to just step away from the television with the narratives being pushed through to the people and just take a step back and observe what's happening. If you shut the television off, you just observe everyone's wearing masks and that's it. Nobody's falling over dead. I've yet to know anyone that's ever died of corona. Yeah. And it's just, we need to look through observational lenses and to see really what's happening. But, you know, going back to the censorship, you know, is demonic. And medicine, like Benjamin Rush, you know, he warned the people, we need to put this medical freedom in the Constitution, because the art of healing will be restricted and medicine will form into an undercover dictatorship, you know, and that's where we're at right now. That time is now.
I heard that before and I was like, how the fuck are they going to do that? And now I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
That's how they're going to do it.
Yeah. Right. They're doing it. Right.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
Right. And we put these, you know, nothing against MDs. Medical doctors, there's phenomenal medical doctors out there, but the population, the people has put these medical doctors on the pedestal. And we've said that drugs and surgery are the only way to true health. And that's what they're saying. That's what fuels my fires when we have, like, the hospitals are saying, they put out a thing in Omaha, Nebraska that said, there's nothing you can do naturally to fight this virus naturally. And it just fuels me to no end, because I'm in the natural health field.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
That might be a true allopathic mindset, but they're totally turning a blind eye to the wellness and prevention paradigm, which in my opinion is the true way to true health.
Yeah.
Think of the healthiest person.
It's prevention, bro.
It's prevention.
It's not, look, dude, nobody here, you know, and everybody likes to take the extremes, right? These guys are on there talking about how they're going to heal everything with a fucking tablespoon of honey.
Right.
No, dude. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
No one's saying that surgery is unnecessary sometimes. Or, you know, no one's saying that traditional medicine is not needed.
Right.
What we're saying is it's a combination of preventative and post-symptomatic treatment.
Right.
You know, and anybody who thinks differently, dude, you're fucking crazy. Like, that's like, and unfortunately, a lot of people do think differently because we can look at them and see.
Right. You know, that's the thing. But the thing is, you know, there's a time and place for drugs and surgery.
Yeah.
Drugs can be life-saving.
Yes, sir.
There's no question about that. Surgery, I've recommended surgery in my practice. You need surgery. I just recommended surgery last week.
Yeah.
There's a time and place for it.
Yes.
But a lot of these surgeons are hammers. And when you're a hammer, everything's a nail. I can't tell you how many times there's been an unnecessary surgery in my practice. Yeah. I'm going, oh my gosh, they operated on a 25-year-old male that had a grade 1 herniation in the lumbar spine. It's like, dude, you did not need a surgery, a fusion. You just needed an adjustment. enforcement.
that's about this.
Right,
Yeah.
100%.
It's about the money.
Right. But, there's a time and place for drugs and surgery. I don't want to bash the big pharma, but we live in a world right now where Americans make up 5% of the world population, but yet we're on 65 to 70% of the world's pharmaceutical drugs.
And people don't understand that in other countries, there is no drug advertisements.
Right.
You don't watch TV over in Europe and see commercials for fucking dick pills.
Right.
And, all these, like I'm sitting in the bathtub, I got to take my Viagra,
Right.
fucking weird
But you
shit.
also don't see the commercials where if you or a loved one have tried this drug,
Right.
you don't see those either over there.
So what do they do when they get a boner for more than 4 hours? Do they know to go to the hospital?
That sounds like a good time. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I think the one thing that surprised me, I pulled this picture up. This is a picture of Hank Aaron. So this is an old ad, right? And so it's like what we see right now with all these celebrities and these athletes, like they're pushing all these vaccines and masks, trying to make it seem like it's this good thing. We had athletes that were pushing and promoting smoking cigarettes, right? And we all know that cigarettes are not that good thing to do, right? So like, Doc, what's your take on the propaganda that's being used right now?
It's all about the money. It's there to push, a product to the people. Vaccinations are a product. It's a pharmaceutical product. And, and it's being used right now. I've seen Dolly Parton say, get the shot. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger, get the shot. It's like those
people are getting paid to say that, guys.
100%.
Right.
You got to understand.
And I'll tell you this, I guarantee you, they're not taking the shot.
Fuck no.
Right.
Dude, I think that's something that's worthy of pointing out. So we're talking about propaganda for a second. Like, guys, if this shit was really what the fuck they said it was, we'd all be lining up to get that fucking vaccine.
Right.
They wouldn't have to have a death count.
Right.
They wouldn't have to have a case count. They wouldn't have to have a 24-hour fucking bombardment of marketing onto people. They wouldn't have to, have celebrity influencer campaigns and micro influencer campaigns.
Right.
Like, dude, what? So as a logical human, I'm asking myself, why?
Right.
Because, dude, if this shit was really killing everybody, first of all, wouldn't we know all these people that were dead?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'd be
100%.
falling over dead like they showed us on the TV in the first 2 weeks of this thing. And then they tried to pull that shit again a couple weeks ago, if you guys saw that.
Right.
Over in
Right.
India. Then they showed a clip like a couple weeks ago and talked about a spike in India. Did you see this? And then they took the clip that was from a year ago and played like, dude, this is manufactured shit.
100%.
And, people are saying, what about the 600,000, 550,000 deaths?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what would you say to that?
Well, the deaths, we already know that there's been mislabeling of the deaths. If you look at the NVSRS, the National Vital Reporting System for the CDC, they manipulate the data. They combine the deaths. They switch the numbers around.
And it's starting to come out now.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's been they do the same thing with influenza. They've done that for over. as long as I can
See, I
remember.
didn't know the flu numbers were that bad. So they were doing that with the flu too.
Influenza, they do it. So that's when I first caught wind of it in 2008. So I've kept a close eye on those numbers since 2008, and I have been every year because they'll tell you, 36 to 80,000 die of influenza every year, but they forget to tell you that those numbers are coupled with viral and bacterial pneumonia. 90% of the deaths occur in the elderly. They're associated with comorbidities, and they're usually on 13 plus medications. They forget to leave out that.
Now, these are statistical facts.
From
These
the
are
CDC.
facts.
Yes, from facts. Yeah,
Guys, this is not misinformation.
You're
These
right.
are factual data points and deductive reasoning from those data.
Right.
So
right. And it's all there to push the agenda. To push
Right.
that agenda.
Yes.
Well, hold on. What do you think the point of that is?
Well, obviously, so if you rewind back in 2019, so you had the World Health Organization that stated the greatest threat are those who question vaccinations. And then shortly thereafter, the ACIP, which is a subdivision of the CDC, so it's the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, the ACIP, they stated that they cannot force compliance. They cannot force vaccinate, but they can force compliance. That was a direct quote from the ACIP in the meeting. Okay, then we had the Event 201 meeting. If you watch, that's very eerie. That was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
The vaccination summit in 2019, they took out God, in God we trust. They replaced it with vaccination. And vaccinations we trust. I mean, how crazy is that, right? That was all in 2019. They're setting the stage for
That's
this.
like saying in Bill Gates we trust.
Right,
Yeah.
Bill
Like,
Gates.
what
And-
the fuck?
And
Yeah,
Dr. Bill Gates.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have it on my phone, but they said now in Fauci we trust. There's people that literally put Fauci and Bill Gates.
That motherfucker should be in fucking jail.
He should be. And I have a dossier I'd love to send you because it's calling for his arrest.
Should be in jail.
He should be. But the thing is, it's all about this. I
believe he will be eventually.
I believe he will too, honestly. I mean, if people really knew what he was doing. And Pfizer, I mean, look at Pfizer's record. I mean, Pfizer, they're pushing out the vaccine. Everyone thinks, oh, this is safe and effective. But Pfizer has the largest fraudulent track record in U.S. history. I mean, they were in violation of the Nuremberg Code. They were testing children against their parents, without willingness to do so, consent. In Nigeria, they had to pay out a $2.3 billion plea deal for fraudulently misleading the public on their pharmaceuticals and bribing doctors to push propaganda. Yeah, and they were found guilty for that. I mean, if you really look at their track record, it's a corrupt
ass company.
They are so corrupt.
Right.
And Merck, I like to say, Merck is too, but they had a little bit of dignity and integrity in this, and they abandoned their vaccine program and said, listen, you don't need the vaccine. When you have the corona naturally, you have a far greater immune system than those.
Sounds like someone over there had a little foresight.
You're right.
Yeah, and they got canceled though. They got bashed bad for doing that, for pulling out of the vaccine run.
Right.
100%. Yeah, but sometimes you're going to do things in the short term that you're going to get attacked for that eventually end up being the best thing you ever did.
Right.
100%. Hence you standing up for everybody else.
Right.
And that's what's something people don't understand. You've dealt with a year, as have I, with an entire year of attacks, of fucking hate, of, guys like Ian Smith getting fucking destroyed every day. All these doctors, America's frontline, who are true, they are holding up their Hippocratic oath to serve humanity, okay? To do their obligation. These people are speaking up for the people who are condemning them.
Right.
It's so hard to 100%. Continue to do when you realize that these people just don't even want to look at it.
Right.
And how do you feel about that?
Well,
I commend you for doing what you're doing, bro.
Well, I stand by the quote Martin Luther King Jr. stated that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of conflict and controversy. Again, I do this because I don't do it for prosperity. I don't do it for publicity. I do this because my convictions are greater than my complacency. I have 4 children. They're my kids, and I do this for them. Because I love the quote that I'm not afraid to die, but I'm afraid to live on my knees in a world run by lesser men that control the destiny of my children. And I will fight for them because I understand that this involves them. This involves their children's children's children. Our freedoms are at stake here. And those that are listening, we need to understand that. Instead of sitting on the couch playing video games, we need men to speak out. We need men to stand our ground. I prayed, God, let these words travel far and wide in August, and I believe he answered that prayer. But I live by the quote, and I have it 5 feet from my adjusting room. I said, you never know how far-reaching something we may think, say, or do today that will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. I'm just a small-town Cairo that was passionate about getting the truth out there. And now I'm on your show here.
Yeah.
So your voice matters. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
And it's like we need men to stand up, go to your city council meetings, go to your school boards. If you're in a workforce too, that's something that's really important right now. The mask mandates are ending around the towns, but now they're saying, hey, the unvaccinated, you still need to wear a mask. If you're vaccinated, take it off. If that's your employer, you need to gather other like-minded people in your workforce and sue them.
Yes. And that's going to be the biggest, if I'm a lawyer right now, I'm fucking drooling.
Right.
Because all these companies are violating medical rights of their employees by requiring this vaccine, and it's discrimination.
100%.
Yeah, and it's illegal, and 100%. That's going to be the next big wave of lawsuits.
Right.
Like the even them pressuring you to get it is actually illegal.
100%.
Yes.
And where's HIPAA? HIPAA, if you're listening, where are you?
Right.
It's like that's a complete HIPAA violation. It's a violation of your privacy, and it's discrimination against you. Not only that, but these companies are having incentives like, if you get the vaccine,
illegal.
It's illegal. You got a 2-week pay if you get the vaccine. If you approve the vaccination. If those are incentives, that's complete discrimination against you. Because this vaccine is causing more harm than good.
Dude, when this all gets straightened out, these companies are going to get their fucking asses sued off.
100%.
And dude, a lot of you guys listen to me and you run companies. And if you're one of these people that runs companies and you're doing this shit, you better stop it right away.
100%.
Because it's going to cost you fucking everything.
Right.
Forever.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything forever.
100%.
Doc, can I ask you what? So you said in 2008 is when you guys started looking into influenza, right? So what was like what was in your mind? Like, what made you start looking into this? What sparked that interest there?
Well, the whole vaccine thing, I grew up, my dad was speaking out against vaccinations at a young age, and I just assumed that everybody didn't vaccinate. That was my normal. But then I realized as the older I got, like, oh, I'm the minority here. Like, that's the majority of the people do vaccinate. And so I had growing up in that childhood, I realized a lot about vaccinations, but I went to a seminar by one of my favorite chiropractors. His name's Dr. Burns in Illinois. He put on a seminar about basically the flu vaccine and influenza and had all these numbers and artificial immunity versus natural immunity and pulled the numbers out and broke it down. And my eyes were completely open to, the influenza. It really was, I was very keen on vaccinations or very open to that world and the corruption there, but I had no idea about influenza. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, because he had all the numbers from the NBSRS and basically pulled the data. And I think in the last 15 years, the highest number of influenza deaths were like 2,000 or something like that. And that's straight from the CDC. And they're very, the average person would go to CDC and try to find those numbers, but they've since covered them up. A lot of the links that I had back then they're eradicated. They don't work anymore. And you have to like really dig to find these numbers. And they just combine them with other ailments and bacterial and viral pneumonia. Now I understand influenza can lead to bacterial and viral pneumonia, and that can be a problem. And again, it's so funny, just the whole mask issue. Like if you have a respiratory issue, the body's exhaust you're covering that up, and bacteria loves a moist, warm environment, and that's what that mask does. It's like a petri dish for bacteria to grow, and then you have this respiratory thing. And if you're sick, you're symptomatic, you're covering your mouth. I mean, it just breeds a bacterial pneumonia essentially, and it's just going to cause
problems. Which is what a lot of people are dying of.
Essentially,
yeah, that's what most people died of in 1918.
Right,
that's never even covered. Right. Like they say, it's Spanish flu that killed them. It's not. Right. It's bacterial infection because of the fucking mask.
It was the 100%. Mandates and regulations that killed them.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's my opinion. And this could be totally wrong, but my opinion is they were trying to replicate that result
100%
during this time.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's.
You agree with that for real? That we're guessing because we don't know their motives for sure. But like my from what I've observed, I think they're trying to fucking replicate that.
Well, 100%. Well, the thing is, not only that, but it's like, when you have a mask on, a mask, especially for a virus, right? These masks that people are wearing, it's a cotton mesh usually or whatever, but it's not meant to be worn over and over and over again. Right. It's a biohazard product if it's a really true contagious virus. And, it shouldn't be worn. I've seen people hang them in their cars, wear them day in and day out.
Throw them on the seat.
Yeah. It's like, they're not really, they're just very lazy about it. But it's like they're just sick and tired of wearing the mask. They just do it just to get into the stores and shop and go back and carry on their life.
Yeah, it's a false compliance. They are letting the corporations. They are counting on the corporations to make it appear as if most people are going along with this.
100%.
And this is the biggest play of what I'm observing is going on. That I think most people are missing is that. When these big companies require fucking everybody to wear a mask, everywhere you look, everybody's wearing a mask. What's that tell you? It tells you that you're alone. You're the only one that doesn't agree. So you just go along.
Right.
When in reality, like we said, when we went to Arizona, Sal, DJ, we went down there, they removed the mask mandate that day and every single person had them off, and that shows you how many people. So guys, if you're in an area where they had a mask mandate and now nobody's wearing masks, just realize that only the people who are still wearing masks are the people that actually believe this shit. All right. So you're not alone. It's not, most people agree with what we are saying. That is what's going on. And, they've created this perception. You guys have to also understand, you don't fucking know if the data that they're reporting on the news is right or wrong. You have no idea. That shit they're plugging in. How do you verify that data? Oh, it's on the news. That's not good enough, bro. You know what I'm saying? They manipulated the case numbers with a faulty PCR test, which they had the cycle rate set too high. Okay. We explained this when we had Dr. cOnSpiRAcY on, where we talked about it could detect such a minute amount of the COVID virus that could never actually infect you that the case would turn positive. They didn't do that on accident. They fucking knew that's what would happen. You could test for anything using that test and it's going to come back positive. That's what people don't understand. So they use the deaths to scare people, a false death rate in the beginning. 4% of people are going to die. That's scary as fuck. Well, fuck, dude. Okay, I'll pay attention. Then they went to this inflated case rate, which they knew the testing was fucked up. Then they went back to this inflated death rate where every single death out of when they came out at like 450,000, they came out with a report on CDC that showed only 9,000 people at that point of time had actually died from COVID. Now that's 9,000 people. All right. That sucks. But in the grand scheme of things, those people that's not 450,000. And that's not shut down the world. And that's not take away everybody's freedom. And that's not, dude, it's not any of those things. And it's nothing what they said it was. We all got fucked for an entire year of our lives. So many businesses went out of business. So many people died alone. Dude, I got friends who lost parents that had to die of cancer and other things alone in a hospital because they lied about all this shit. All right. And then if you remember when they were, all the doctors and nurses are doing TikTok dances and shit. What, bro, if this was a real fucking pandemic, they would be stacking motherfuckers in boxes.
You remember the trailers they had, the refrigerated trailers?
Dude, yes. And those tents, the outside tents they had. I was part of a group. We would go around to all these tents.
The makeshift hospitals.
The makeshift
and there
hospitals.
was nobody in them.
Not a single patient in there.
Nobody,
Not
guys.
a single patient. It was a grand
those
illusion.
fucking boats that Trump sent up to LA and New York, fucking no people. They saw 60 people. Okay, we've been getting fucked and played by this whole thing over and over and over again. And the data, now they're using the data to get people to go get this vaccine. They're saying, 75 million Americans have already got bullshit they have. They're just saying that shit so you'll believe it and go get it.
Right.
Okay, dude, we have got to be smarter than what is going on. Well, how would they do that? Well, it's real simple, guys. There's like 5 people that fucking own everything. And those 5 people are colluding on this. Okay, now it might be more than 5, it might be 25. But the point is, there's a select group of fucking very powerful people that all communicate. And they're all working together to create this perception. That's my personal belief. Now, if you don't believe that, you can believe whatever the fuck you want. But I'm just saying what I see happening. And I haven't been wrong about it yet. So,
it's a very dangerous
It's a social pressure thing, dude. It's all been built off faulty data, manipulation of data, shame, okay, canceling people, and fear. The whole fucking thing. And dude, this has nothing to do with anything other than them trying to get you to do something that benefits them. And you say, well, what's the motivation? The motivation could be a lot of different things. Okay. One, it could be money, which usually it is. And you're saying, well, how could it just be money? Well, they're going to give you this vaccine they're not liable for. Okay. They're not liable for the damages that causes. What happens after the vaccine causes all kinds of different side effects? Well, they bring out a series of drugs to counteract the side effects. Like, you guys don't understand business. These motherfuckers are creating an income stream based around hurting you. And that's what you're not getting. And they're already the richest people on the fucking planet. Okay. So this is,
this is almost why, bro, I believe that it's money for sure. Right.
Well, it's that. And also, it could be other things too. A lot of people believe that it's the implementation of a one world government. I actually believe that's what's trying to be done.
I think it's both.
I don't think it's going to work.
Right.
The implementation of a socialistic regime or a communist regime. I think that's what it appears to what they're trying to do, but I don't think it's going to fucking work. So, but you guys have to stop letting people say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist because you're observing the fucking data and the things that are happening in front of your face. That's called gaslighting.
Right.
Like when you observe something happening, right? You saw your girlfriend fucking this dude with your own eyes. And then she stands up and she says, no, I wasn't. We were just cuddling. You didn't actually see his penis go. No, it didn't happen. We were just cuddling. It wasn't that bad. That's called fucking gaslighting. Okay. And that's what's happening to all of you. You're observing all this shit and then you're watching it and someone's coming along and be like, no. Look, I know it kind of looks like that, but it's not like that. Only fucking crazy people think that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a crazy person, are you? That's what's happening.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, just the manipulation of terms like anti-vaxxer or conspiracy. It's all manipulative.
It's so
terms.
decisive.
Right. It's 100%. It's manipulative.
So decisive. Divisive. Sorry.
I've been taking some notes, just trying to, wait for my insertion point here. But, a doctor taught me whenever I was at J&J, and part of the reason I'm not.
Wait, hold up. I want to tell you.
Yeah. I was waiting for it. It's only happened to me 9 times. I mean,
fuck, dude.
I have great fucking points.
No, you don't have. I'm trying to let our guests.
All you're going is back and forth and saying, hey, these guys are fucking us. Hey, these guys are fucking us. Hey, these guys are fucking us.
Our guests speak, and you keep asking him
trying
shit
to
when
allow
he's in the middle of his story.
Who's fucking us out?
Some valid perspective here from somebody who's been in the medical field and actually help perpetuate this shit.
No one wants to hear what you say.
So I had a doctor one time. I worked at J&J and we sold mesh, right? And so they would obviously incentivize the doctors who were more favorable to their products to run the studies, right? And so I met this one doctor, his name is Dr. Brent Matthews. He's probably the best guy that I've met from an integrity standpoint. And he said something to me a long time ago, and it stuck with me. And it always haunted me in the back of my head because we were always taught to the study. And I remember one time, but doc, this study, he says, Sal, medical modeling is only as good as the information you provided. That's it. So you can say whatever you want, but I am actually operating on the surgeon or on the patient, and these are the outcomes that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I always stuck with me. So when you look at this mass scale, the medical modeling that we see is only as good as they want it to be.
Right.
They're only pumping the information they want you to see, right? And to the gaslighting point, hey, what's going on? If we really were seeing, if this really were the pandemic, you would know 20 or 30 or 40 people. I mean, just based off of 4% or 2%, how many people do you know?
Right.
If you know 1,000 people, well, you'd know 20 people that are dead.
Right.
Do you?
40.
Well, whatever it's started at 4, 2, 1. It's like,
right.
How many do you know?
Right.
And so you start, all right, let's really deduct this reasoning here. You don't.
Right.
And so, that's like a really natural way to we can unpack all of this. I said this back in April when I said, well, we're not going to really know until the end of the year when you look at total death count. Total death count, the reason law of averages is this is why baseball is awesome. It's the law of average. What's your batting average? It'll tell you how good you are. That's how much money you make.
Mm-hmm.
So law of averages. How many people died?
Right.
How many people total died in 2020?
Not a significant number over the previous years. And in fact, I believe that actually less people
reduced.
Maybe died in 2020 than they did in 19 or 18.
It's roughly the same.
Yeah.
And, I had we had a talk probably about a month and a half ago. I posted on my Facebook, and I think it got taken down, but I had about 400 people in the room, and they were all standing, and I got up and to speak.
I saw this.
Yeah, I had them stand, and I said, I want you to sit down if you've had a friend or a loved one that's died of COVID-19, and no one sat down.
Yeah.
And then I asked them to sit down if you had a friend or loved one that's died of heart disease or cancer, and they all sat down. So what does that show you?
Of course.
And I know that COVID's relatively new, but we're 16 months into this thing now.
Yeah.
And it's, there would be people that sat down, like you said. If it's as deadly as they claim, people would sit down.
Yeah.
Or have sat down.
And you know what? And then you start to comply and you start to be reasonable. Right. But I think we're at a point where you shouldn't be fucking reasonable.
No, you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right.
None of us should be.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's the other side. I always say, hey, you show me a problem, find the money.
Right. 100%.
And when you start incentivizing the vaccine, I mean, man, I don't watch TV anymore. To your point, to the first point you made, I don't watch TV anymore because it's absolutely fucking pointless.
Right.
But I do watch YouTube TV in the morning because I can watch Fox Business, right? So, but and I don't pay for the premium because I'm cheap. So I get the free version. And the free version has a commercial. Every commercial is some type of incentive or propaganda around getting the vaccine. Every fucking one.
100%.
And I'm sitting here. Now you can get college scholarships.
100%.
You can get deduction of credit card debt. It's absolutely insanity,
because
right?
the thing is, Sal, the incentives are still lesser than the amount of money that they set out to make from this vaccine.
Of course.
That's the thing.
And so you start adding one and one and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And I think this is where I personally struggle because, I went to Home Depot this weekend, right? We're mask free at this point. County finally let us go. And I walk into Home Depot because you made a mention about, we need men to stand up. And this is the point that I think I'd like to really bring back to is, maybe you don't need to go to city council and maybe you don't need to go run for mayor. Maybe you don't need to be a congressman. But what you do need to do is take your goddamn mask off when you're walking through Home Depot. You need to stand up and at least have the courage to fight for yourself and for your children, for your freedoms, for your neighbor. I don't care how uncomfortable they still, like you walk in Home Depot, they still have a massive sign that says mask must be worn. And so you watch everybody like little people, they just walk in and keep putting it on. Take the motherfucker off, man. Like
100%.
You know, and I think it starts there. If
the new thing too, dude, is, well, you must have got the vaccine. Which one did you get? It's none of your motherfucking business.
Right.
That's right.
And that's a real simple answer.
That's right.
It's none of your business.
That's right.
And you know, even the most passive of humans can utter those words.
Right.
So for those of you looking, you know, because that's going to be the next shame thing. Oh, you don't have a mask on? What vaccine did you get? None of your motherfucking business vaccine. That's what I got. You should have got the same one.
Right.
I'll be real curious to see how they implement the travel restriction. That's going to be I think that's where.
Fauci came out yesterday and was talking about the passport necessity. I don't think anybody believes anything this guy says anymore. But
right.
How do you feel about that testimony that he did with Congress? Did you follow that?
I've seen a lot of them, but there's, you know, he's as corrupt as can be. He talks out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah, he does.
You know, and the thing is, the field of practice is what graduates the true physician. Fauci's an administrative doc. He is bought and paid for. He is a puppet. He's not for the people. And he knows nothing about true health. He is a puppet, a pharmaceutical puppet that's there to pay. He is basically just whatever Big Pharma says, he's there.
That's right.
Bill Gates is in his back pocket. NIH is in his back pocket. NIH has patents on the Moderna vaccine. If you look at the CDC, their patents with vaccination companies, and Fauci, they're all just high-fiving each other in the back room. Fauci is not for the people. He is not an ally to Americans and to true patriots and to the people. He should be arrested for crimes against humanity, and he is a corrupt individual. And that's why, you know, you say in the beginning, oh, don't wear the mask. You know, only if you're symptomatic. Now it's like everyone should be wearing a mask. And
now you gotta wear two masks.
Two masks, right? But, you know, it's really criminal. And, you know, I wanted to go back to, you know, just take the mask off at Home Depot, what you said. 2 weeks ago, I was going to my kid's soccer game, and my wife said, run to Chipotle quick to grab lunch. So I went in there, and I haven't been to Chipotle in a long time. I went in there and you know, there was a long line of people, and they all had masks on. I walk in there, I was the one who got the mask, and the register guy said, hey, you need a mask on in here. And I said, well, I'm not wearing it. And he goes, well, it's our policy, and pulls up a huge bag of masks. And I said, I don't think you heard me. I'm not wearing that, you know. And then he looked at the other employee, and then he just walked off. I thought he was going to go get a manager. Well, then I just sat there in line, and then another guy came to the register. I guess he just said, I'm done. I'm frustrated. And then I got to order my food.
Extra pico de gallo, please.
Right, yeah. And the couple next to me took theirs off.
That's right.
And they said, thank you. And I was like, and I went over to him. I said, that's how we end this.
Bro, that's how, dude, when him and I went to vote.
Yep.
So DJ and I went to vote together right over here at the library.
He forced me.
So, yeah, of course. I made him vote for Trump. so fucking, there's a line literally around the building to vote, right? Fucking everybody's wearing American flags. This is also how I know it's fucking bullshit.
Right.
Now, one of those motherfuckers was voting for Biden. Not one.
Okay.
So
not at that voting place.
No, no. So we get in the line. Everybody's got a mask. We're at the back of the line, and we're just back there chilling, you know, having jokes and talk. We're, you know, dude, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I don't really care, but don't say shit to me. And that's been the attitude the whole time. You guys with the one to wear the mask, fucking wear them. I don't give a fuck. But show your fucking face when you look at me and say whatever you're going to say. You're going to get a fucking knuckle sandwich. So, dude, so we're standing there and we had to wait in this line for an hour. It took an hour to go through the whole line. So it's funny because it shows you what people's, how they operate in social pressure, right? So we're the only ones. And then we went through the line and every single person in front of us had a mask. When we got to the front of the line, getting ready to go in the building and vote, we looked back. Only fucking like 2 people had masks on out of the 200 or 300 in line. That's the power.
Yeah.
That's the power, guys. If you just step up and just say, hey, no, I'm not doing it.
Bro, you know the craziest thing that actually just came to me? The lady that passed, do you remember the lady that passed out?
Yeah.
She had a fucking mask on.
Yeah.
So this older lady was standing in the line. She had a mask on and she passed out.
It was kind of hot that day.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a little warm and she passed out and I went to go help her out and stuff. But it's like, it was insane.
She required medical attention. She was standing in the line with a mask on. It was kind of warmer than it had been for a few days. Yeah. And she passed out.
It was insane.
Right in front of us, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I've seen that too. Like, you know, just just by putting that mask on, people with a double mask, and I've seen the guy at the physician has the oxygen meter saying, "Oh, it doesn't decrease your oxygen." It's like, you know what? Go run a mile with that mask on and tell me if you have a hard time breathing. I mean, these people are out of shape wearing these masks. It's like, it's absolutely going to affect your oxygen levels. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and there's a reason why when you go into the ER, no matter what the fuck you go in for, they stick an oxygen tube in your nose.
Right.
And a thing on your finger to read it.
Right.
Like there's a reason for that, guys. Right. It's because it's important.
Right. 100%.
What's your take on the medical procedures and stuff that was done when COVID first happened? So there was a big thing with people getting intubated. Like that was a huge procedure that was done. Everybody that came in with COVID, they were medically induced and got put on a ET tube. But it's coming out that actually killed a lot of people, because if it's not a general surgery problem and you have respiratory issues, I believe the statistic is like 26%. You only have like a 26% chance of coming off the ventilator when you have a respiratory problem going on. So what's your take on all of that?
Well, first of all, you have to look at going back. Those people, in a blunt way of saying it, they were mistreated.
Yes.
And that's criminal, right? They're mistreated because they were misdiagnosed. Because
and they were still labeled as COVID deaths.
COVID deaths, because you have a faulty testing, first of all, to diagnose them with, which, by the way, in a clinical setting, and to make a diagnosis, in order to make a diagnosis, we need, you come in as a new patient. We have subjective findings. You have demographics. We put all your problems, basically symptomatology, in a category called subjective findings, okay? Then we have objective findings. You go in there and say, well, can we measure it? What's the testing, the diagnostics, the radiology, everything? Can we put my hands on it, temperature? All that falls into the category of objective findings. Then you make an assessment to make the diagnosis. Okay. Now, this faulty testing, the PCR, we talk about the cycle rate and all that, but it's really faulty because it doesn't hold up in a clinical diagnostic setting. Because if I have a false positive, what subjective findings do I have? 0. What objective findings do I have? 0. So if I was a medical auditor going in and doing an audit on you, I'm going to say, let me see your notes. You have nothing that correlates and corresponds to this PCR test. That means that this test is faulty. So going back to these people that were in these ventilators and the hospitalizations, those people were mistreated. That's the best way to say it, because the testing is faulty and they had other issues. They were probably having a heart disease or a heart issue or other things that were going on, but we were so panicked, and we instilled this fear into our nurses and our healthcare workers that they were doing what they thought was the best thing for these patients. And now we have this, these people that have died of mistreatment. And that's the thing, like my one of my favorite patients, he had like 4 heart surgeries, and he had like 3 or 4 heart attacks. Okay. He was 80 something years old, and he was having his 5th heart attack, went to the hospital, and they tested him for COVID, and he tested positive, but he had all the signs of a heart attack. Mm-hmm. And guess what? They put him on a ventilator. He died. Mm-hmm. And guess what? They wouldn't let the family come in to be a counsel for him, to help him out, they left the family out, and then they wouldn't have a funeral for him. I was like so irate. I wanted to storm the hospital. Yeah.
One of my best friend's dad's, the same exact thing happened to him. Exactly the same thing.
Right.
He was fine. He had a little issue. He ended up going to the ER, tested positive for COVID. They put him on a ventilator. He died.
Right.
Alone.
Right. Alone.
Yeah.
Alone. And to me, that is so criminal. It's evil. And one of my cousins, he has muscular dystrophy. He's my age. He's got kids. They wouldn't let him see his kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I saw him. He finally got to see his kids after a whole year. That was his lifeline. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's like, I guarantee you that he would rather die of COVID-19 than of loneliness. Mm-hmm. Just like the people in Greeley, Colorado, they were protesting. These people in nursing homes, they were isolated. They were mistreated because they couldn't see their family. If I wasn't in their situation, I would be freaking out.
There's a guy at the nursing home by our house, the one we passed 1,000 times as a kid. He stands outside and he protests every day. But they won't let him in because he's not vaccinated.
Right.
To see the thing. And so so my wife makes it her mission. She calls and tells the lady how evil she is. I mean, he just wants to see his mom.
Amen. Right.
He just wants to see his fucking mom.
Dude, right.
And they won't let him in the door.
Right. So think about this too. Now you got, there was a friend of mine, he's in the service. He gets deployed. If you're deployed prior to last week, you'd have to quarantine for 14 days if you're in the service. Okay. And so you have to quarantine for 14 days. And now they're saying, if you don't get the vaccine, you have to quarantine, basically the whole time. You don't get to go to chapel. You don't get to have extracurricular activities there. You can't talk to anybody. You have to be isolated. You have to talk to people through a phone. And that's if you don't get the vaccine. and you're only allowed out to do your duties. And so same thing, that going back to the nursing home, I had another patient, his grandpa was in the nursing home, and he's a smart guy, very sharp-minded. I mean, he still has his mind. He's 80-something years old. And he's like, I'm not getting that vaccine. There's no way. They kept him in his room. They said, you're not allowed to leave your room. Isolated, unless you have proof, because you're a threat to us.
Yeah, this whole thing is fucked up, dude.
Right.
This is fucking insane.
This is the pressure.
And like, dude, you motherfuckers listening to this, you better start standing the fuck up, dude.
Right. But I want to say this, like, because they're going to blame the unvaccinated for the cause of disease. We have to understand that they're going to blame the unvaccinated for the cause and spread of disease. And the vaccine is a pharmaceutical product. So think about this. Let's just change the word, not vaccine. Let's just call it for what it is. It's a pharmaceutical. Like, let's say, if you don't take Zoloft, you're going to spread only happiness and depression everywhere. You need to take Zoloft.
No, and the next move, Ben, is not that. Do you guys understand what the next move after that is? The next move after that, which is what people don't fucking get and why you need to stand the fuck up right now, is those people who didn't get the vaccine are a danger to society.
100%.
They're a danger to society. It's us or them.
Right.
It's us or them. I know this is evil, putting these people on a train to go here and do this, but it's us or your family. Like, you guys don't fucking get it. That's where this is headed. This sort of tyranny and this sort of regime, the communist socialist program, which is what we have in America right now. We just have Biden on TV today talking about everybody getting $500 every 2 fucking weeks for every kid they have extra over what they get. Dude, you guys don't understand what's happening. And you think you're going to passively sort of allow, someone else is going to handle it. It's not going to happen. No one else is going to handle it. You have to stand up for your kids. You have to stand up for your future. You have to stand up for your friends. They are too weak to fucking say anything. Okay? It's you. And that's the problem here. Everybody's looking around saying, well, it's this guy's job, or it's that guy's job, or, Ian Smith's standing up. These politicians
Andy has
are standing
podcast.
up. Yeah. Andy's saying this. Dr. Ben's saying this. Blah, blah. No, motherfucker, you need to say it.
Amen.
And you need to do it. Because, dude, that's where this ends. This ends with, and it might be a year, it might be 2 years. You can look at Venezuela. It's the same fucking thing. It's going to end up with, they're a danger to everybody. And we're doing what's best for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think that's what's happening and you're going to say, oh, you're crazy, just fucking wait. Just wait.
Right.
Doc, I got a question because I'm the black sheep of our school for the kids, right? And it's been a very, my kids go to like what I would call it's a higher education liberal. It's more liberal school, right? But he's actually been very good, I would say, in the grand scheme of things. But I'm the black sheep. I go in and battle everything. They start to creep down this. The private schools in St. Louis, at least, are starting to creep down this. Hey, if your kids are vaccinated, they don't have to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, if they're vaccinated, they don't have to wear a mask. But if they're not, they can come to school, but they have to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on this whole, or I'd be curious, like in Omaha, how does it look? Or where do you see the future of the kids and driving the vaccine into, hey, if you want your kids to go to school, they have to be vaccinated. Where do you stand? How do you see it laying out? Where's the...
So I think it's been the plan all along.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, that's why, back in 2017, they were coming after our exemptions, because we have medical, religious or philosophical exemptions to for vaccinations to be entered into school. But, that's what's coming. They're going to say, if you're unvaccinated, then you're going to have to wear a mask. Nebraska Furniture Mart's getting flack right now because the employees are going to be wearing bracelets that says I'm vaccinated. Or if you're unvaccinated, you have to wear a different color bracelet, and they're discriminating against these people. And so what I foresee is that we're going to have an explosion, if not already, of homeschoolers, which I think is phenomenal. I love homeschooling.
Do you homeschool your children?
We did. And I used to think it was the weirdest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends are homeschooled, and I'm like, you guys aren't weird. You're not socially handicapped. Maybe they are, and I just love them.
Yeah. You got bad friends.
Yeah, right. I got bad friends, right? But they're some of the smartest people I know. They're the most outgoing people I know, and they're awesome people. And I was like, man, they turned my whole perspective around on homeschooling, because schools now, they don't teach the kids how to think. They teach them what to think.
That's right.
It's this indoctrination program, basically. And anymore, it's like a socialistic indoctrination. And that's the problem. And so if we can, that's why I love homeschooling. There's freedom in homeschooling. You can teach the kids what they want. You can go right to their interest. You can learn. It's more one-on-one. And so I think there's going to be an explosion of homeschooling families, which I think is a good thing. fine.
Yeah,
For sure.
So if this battle continues to creep where they start, I've already made the decision that I'm going to rent a spot.
Yeah.
I got enough friends, we create our own
start
school.
fucking school.
I'm going to buy a bus. And
You
you know
know
what?
RT school for children.
No,
Right.
but for real, no.
Yeah.
And
You want to teach your kids how to win? You send them to Andy Frisella.
well, no, we could, I already, like,
$50,000 a year.
I will employ a staff. I mean, I'm going to make
Dude,
a
right.
real school
Right. You
around and teach them life.
And here's
I'm in on that.
Here's a
No,
way
for real, the
around
next
it.
build I was going to ask you.
So if the laws in Nebraska, and I'm not sure about here, but if you have in Nebraska, as long as you are the primary teacher, so if you do the teaching most of the time, you can send the kids to like a school like you're talking about for like 2 days a week, and they're homeschooled the rest of the week. You can help the parents out, and
Right.
a lot of parents need help. Obviously,
Right.
it's scary for the parents to go, "Oh my gosh, I need to homeschool my kids," and these kids are usually in a program, school 8 to 3 or 8 to 4 most of the time.
Right.
You don't need to homeschool that long. I mean, because think about all the breaks, all the recess, standing in line, disruptions in the classroom. We homeschool for a few hours a day and it's done.
My kids they're gonna go in the woods. They're gonna
Right.
go to city
Amen.
museum.
Listen,
They're gonna
man,
go to
let's just be fucking real, dude. Kids, you need to know a little bit of shit. All right. If you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be an attorney, if you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to do these things, specialized knowledge. But the reality of what kids need to learn is going to be taught by their parents.
Amen.
Period.
Amen.
Okay. And the kids getting taught by these people. Here's what's happened, guys. We took our eye off the fucking ball for too long.
Mm-hmm.
People who believe in America, they're trying to pass this thing now like extreme patriotism.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Right.
Okay. Oh, so we believe in the actual Constitution and the values that this country was founded upon,
Mhm.
meaning do the right thing, open discussion, the right to bear arms. All men are created equal. We have the greatest American, who I think is I actually think Dr. Martin Luther King might be the greatest American to ever fucking live.
Well, that's racist.
Okay. No, I'm being serious because he transcends all the differences that humans are infatuated with for some reason. Like, what difference does it make what pigment of someone's skin? Like, you have to be a low level thinking motherfucker to literally look at a human and think about their skin color. Like that, we shouldn't even be doing that at all. And we have taken our eye off the ball and we've allowed people who are not smart, who don't believe in America, to create this idealistic framework of the way shit should be, which is everybody should be equal. Fuck, dude, it doesn't work like that. There's not enough resources. And if everybody is going to be equal, everybody's going to be poor as fuck. Look at every country who's ever put in this type of situation. Yeah, there's equality. Equality of my life is fucked. You know what I'm saying? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Because, dude, that's what this is what that looks like in real life. Oh, well, socialism, communism has never been properly executed and we can do it better. No, we fucking can't. It's a flawed system and it's based off supply and demand. That means there's limited number of resources. And when you spread those limited number of resources equally amongst everybody gets shit. Okay. You're better off allowing people who are good-hearted run their companies, run their businesses, provide careers, provide jobs, and let that wealth trickle down the proper way. And dude, they point to people and they say, well, the people like me who own mid-level businesses, and they say, well, you're just fucking greedy. No, I'm not. If you go out there and talk to every single person, they all are building a career. They're all making good money. They're all doing what they can to progress forward. And they're all fucking pretty much happy with their career paths. That's what usually happens when you allow companies to exist. And what they should be doing is pointing to people like Bezos or fucking these Gates or these other gigantic companies who own Facebook, who are disproportionately controlling the wealth of the world, and wonder where the fuck their tax dollars are. Where are they contributing? It's not me or people like me that are causing the problems here. We're doing entrepreneurship correctly. It's those guys that you seem to like jock their nuts for some reason because you don't understand what the fuck they're actually doing. If those guys all pay the same percentage of tax that people like me pay, we wouldn't have problems in this country with socioeconomic differences. But they allow these big ass companies to dodge paying their fair share, right? People say, oh, well, do they pay their fair share? And they're talking about what they think a wealthy person is, which is like the person in their town that has the big house. That's not what they're talking about when paying the fair share. They're talking about these dudes you will never meet in your entire life because there's only 10 of them who control most of the fucking money, who don't contribute back properly. And that's the problem with capitalism right now. Okay. Is there a problem with capitalism? Yes. The problem is not everybody's paying by the fucking rules of it.
Right.
That's the problem. And I don't know. I'm getting off on a tangent.
No, but especially when they can rewrite the rules to
right.
benefit themselves
Right.
because they're in
They
control.
figured out-
Well, it's crony capitalism.
That's
the problem.
correct.
Right.
They figured out that if I, the richest man in the world, write you, the president, a fucking check, or you, the senator, a check, which really, I could give you $1 million or $2 million, and you're gonna do everything I say. $1 million or $2 million is $5 to us.
Right.
For them, like, dude, what are we fucking doing? We need some real leadership, guys. We need some of you men who listen to this show to get interested in what's going on in the world and not be interested in Longmire or fucking Yellowstone or fucking Walking Dead, right? We have to start paying attention because, dude, these people are ruining our future and your kids' future and their kids' fucking future. And if you don't stand up right now, and I'm talking to you men who are between the ages of fucking 20 and 40, if you don't stand up right now and take control of what the fuck is going on, bro, you are fucked and your family's fucked and their families are fucked. And that's a fact.
Yeah. And I'd like to piggyback that because it starts in your own home,
It does.
you know, and it starts with your own daily actions. You don't have to, I mean, this is the thing, you know, because like Doc, you know, I'm most fearful for my kids. Like for me, like, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, hey man, you're going to yell. Oh, you're going to yell at me to put a mask. Oh, okay. I'm good. But when, you know, Enzo, we walk everywhere. My son's really inquisitive. Dad, how come you never wear a mask? You know, we always have this conversation. So I'm always reinforcing, hey man, nobody's ever going to make us wear a mask. That's just, you're just dealing with it right now. Hey,
Doyle rules.
yeah. But you see, you know, like in Home Depot, I use the example because you walk in and here's the one dad who's, you know, he's probably a listener, right? He walks in fucking mask free and here's his kids who are, you know, 8 and 10-year-old little girls behind him. They're covering their face because they've been, you know, listening to this shit and their friends and the peer pressure of what's happening at school and what's happening in their environment because they're forced to wear masks. And it's like, even when the dad now is telling them, hey, we're not going to wear masks in the school, they're like walking through the store.
They're telling those
fear.
kids at school to tell, they tell those kids at school now to tell the teachers if your parents don't believe or wear masks.
Right.
Like, dude, this is insane.
100%.
This has to stop.
It has to stop.
Like, you motherfuckers telling kids to do this shit to their own families, y'all can fucking eat shit.
That's right.
And dude, I'm sick of it, dude. We are bending over the entire constitution of this motherfucking country for 1 or 2% of the population.
Right.
And I'm fucking done.
Right.
Okay? And all you should be done too. Who gives a fuck if they call you a name? Fuck them. These people do not contribute to society. They go out and try to cancel everybody. Fucking bring it, bitch. You don't buy anything anyway. Okay? You don't even have fucking jobs. You're sitting at home getting a fucking check from the government. What fucking power do you have? All the motherfuckers out there to contributing to the world are fucking doing shit. And that's the problem. The problem is everybody out there who's creating income and positive contribution into America, they're busy doing that. And we've allowed all these knuckleheads to come in and fuck with our shit. And it's time to say, hey, no more. Hey, no. And it's real simple. And I just wish that people would wake the fuck up. And I could see them waking up. But guys, I told you this shit over a year ago. I mean, I'm getting tired of saying it. Dude, in fact, I think you guys may remember, and if you don't, we'll throw the clip in of where I actually said back in June that this virus was likely to have come from Wuhan via Dr. Fauci. Go ahead and throw that clip in and let them see what they think. First thing that's important to understand is that COVID was developed here in the United States. It was then moved to China because American sanctions made it too dangerous to develop here. And guess who it was moved by? It was moved by Anthony Fauci, his team, and Barack Obama to Wuhan. And dude, we could have known this a year ago and saved us a fucking whole lot of trouble had you taken your eyes off your fucking Netflix and paid attention. And that's the truth. And dude, if we don't wake up and we don't start caring like you have, sir, which I greatly appreciate, we are all in deep shit. That's it. So what do you want to live in? Do you want to live, you know, if you're thinking right now that I'm going to go along with this and we're going to be back to regular America and blah, 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 and it's just going to happen, you're wrong. It's not going to happen. They're not going to allow it to happen. So we have to be smarter. We have to get real people, men and women who believe in the Constitution, who believe in the things that it represents, who believe that all people are created equal, who believe in the First Amendment and all the other amendments and everything else that this country fucking stands for. You motherfuckers need to stand up. You need to go to city council meetings. You need to go to PTA meetings. You need to go run for your local government. And when you guys go vote, you need to vote for these people. Okay? We don't have enough quality humans going right now. These politicians, you guys have this, not you guys, but a lot of people have this perception that these politicians are the smartest people in the world. No, they're the dumbest motherfuckers in the world. They just went out and fucking got themselves elected. And you wonder why we are where we are. If they were smart, they wouldn't be out taking bribes for their living. They would be out making a business work, but they don't. And dude, we have to quit putting faith in these people that clearly do not give a fuck about what this country was founded upon. Where are you guys that actually care about this shit? You say you care. Where are you? That's all I'm saying. Where are you? Because dude, you're letting guys like this or guys that you watch do your speaking for you. Okay, if you're not as comfortable speaking up, then at least share their shit and support the fuck out of it. Do that, okay? But this silent majority. Oh, we're the silent majority. Where the fuck has that gotten you?
Right.
That's what's gotten us to this point. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't give a fuck what you say to me. Fuck off. I'm gonna show up every day. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm going to make sure that all of these people are taken care of and that we continue to do a great fucking job. And that is my American motherfucking duty. Okay? A lot of you guys ain't holding it up. That's a fact. Oh, Andy, why don't you run for office? Well, fuck, man. Maybe I will. But I can promise you this. It's not going to be for fucking my city mayor. You know what I'm saying?
I got a funny story. So just more of a lighthearted, so I'm a mask battler. I make the uncomfortable situation happen. I don't care.
Like, speaking of uncomfortable situations, how about your old boss yesterday?
Oh, it was awesome. He loved it. So you could tell, like,
oh fuck, dude, I've waited so long to fucking say that to that dude.
Bro, Andy said, I said, oh shit.
So I gotta tell the story. This is great. John's an awesome dude.
John's gangster, dude.
He's an awesome dude. That's the only reason I said it to him, because I knew he's cool as fuck. And he cut. So you got to tell the story. It's a little off topic, but it's funny. So when Sal came to work here, he was like the number one salesman at his old job in the world, and they're a big company. Okay, so Sal goes to his mentor at his company, his boss, and says, "Hey man, I'm thinking about taking this job. And by the way, it's 1/3 of what the fuck I make now." And John's like, "Dude, don't do it. You're an idiot, right?" So fast forward 11 years later, we're sitting in the locker room over here yesterday. Fucking in comes John with Sal, and I see him, and Sal's like, "You remember my old boss, John?" I'm like, "I sure do. Remember when you told Sal not to take this fucking job?"
No, Andrew got out of the chair, like he got out, like he was all excited. I'm like, boy, he's really excited.
Oh, I couldn't wait to say it to him.
Bro, in my head, I said, "Oh shit!" Like, I didn't know it was gonna be one of these meetings.
No, John's gangster. In John's defense, I was leaving.
Dude, he laughed. That was great.
He told me later. He said, "I wanted to respond. I'm just pissed that he didn't bring me with him." He's like, "But I couldn't tell." Like, he was pissed, and I know he's pretty fiery. He's like, "But I didn't." And I said, "Oh, he would have laughed his ass off."
No. I was pretending. Just to make the point. But I thought it was hilarious.
John's like, and he's like, and to my defense, Sal, he's like, he needs to know that you were going to make 25 extra grand a month when this new product came out. He's like justifying. I'm like, it's all good, man. Like, trust me, we're not being counted anymore.
Bro, that was funny as fuck.
Oh, he's a stud.
And I'm gonna fuck with you more next time.
He's a stud. So I go back into everywhere that caused fucking bullshit, right? Now that the county's lifted it, I'm going to go back and return the favor. So I'm going to walk in, no mask. And I love, it's total, Starbucks is everything against my nature, but I make great fucking coffee. I sat in a drive-through line for the last year and a half, waited for fucking 20 minutes. Cause this is the irony of it. You can be in the drive-through. They have the drive-through window open. When you pull the front door in a Starbucks, it creates a draft, right? Everybody been in a house when a door slams. So here I am in my car, and everybody pulls the door open. It's sucking the air out of my car into their thing, but I have no mask on. So like the logic of what they do is ridiculous. But so there's one fucking girl who anytime I would walk in with no mask on, she'd fucking scream, "Sir, mask!" And I'd be like, "I'm just grabbing my coffee," and grab it and walk out. So now that they lifted the mask mandate, the last 5 days I've walked into Starbucks every day, and I walk right over to the girl and I say, "Hey, how are you? Are you having a good day?" And she fucking hates me, man.
Bro,
she fucking hates me.
Bro, these people have attached their fucking identity to this shit.
Right.
Strategically.
100%.
Dude, DJ and I were in fucking Texas a week ago, and we're driving down the highway, dude. And he goes, "Hey, dude, check this out." I look over, and there's a dude driving, not even an old guy or a sickly looking person, like a normal looking, I don't know, 35, 40-year-old dude. Latex gloves on, mask on, fucking face shield on, driving his car by himself. And so, dude, yeah, I know.
And like, that's exactly wait. I look, I'm so like,
he's
look at this guy.
Like our first thing is to laugh. Like, what the fuck, bro? Were you in the truck when we did that? Yeah, Dave saw it too. We're like, what the fuck? And I started thinking, I'm like, God, dude, like, they've really fucked these people up.
Yeah.
Like, scared the fuck out of them.
Right.
Like, dude, how scared of this shit do you have to be to be wearing gloves, a face shield, and a mask at this point? You see what I'm saying?
100%. Well,
like, dude, we have to have some empathy for these people because, dude, they're genuinely scared. And like, when they finally realize that this has all been a fuck job, they're going to be the most pissed.
Right. Well, it's going back to the, you said, is this deliberate? Is this trying to engineer to get them to be sick?
Yeah.
If you understand like sympathetic overload, how the nervous system works, you have parasympathetic, rest and digest. And if you're in a sympathetic fight or flight scenario, like if a bear was chasing you, your cortisol levels are going to go through the roof, which greatly diminishes your immune system. But we're not getting chased by bears. We're getting chased by propaganda and fear mongering.
Right.
One of my great mentors, I was taught that fear is the fire that fuels the furnace of disease.
Yeah.
What he meant by that is if we're in a fearful state, your immune system is not operating. Your body's saying, I got to get the heck out of Dodge or I got to fight this bear. But we're in a chronic state now of sympathetic fight or flight.
Yeah.
And so that greatly decreases your immune system. That's why going back to say this isn't about health. If it was truly about health, you'd have guys understand this and say, listen, you need to rest. That's going to be one of the best things for your immune system. It's going to help. Sleep is the number one way to metabolize cortisol levels in the body. That's going to, help build the immune system. That's why when you're sick, get some rest, man. It's one of the best things you can do. Yeah. Get some rest, and avoid the sugar. Sugar is going to raise cortisol levels. It's going to decrease your immune system.
Yeah, but instead they give you a fucking donut.
Yeah, give you a donut.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so going back to that, but yeah.
That's wild.
Bro, it's crazy, dude.
It is, 100%.
It's like living in the upside down world, dude.
It is upside down, completely right.
What the fuck is going on?
Right.
Like, hey, and this is what I feel like is going on everywhere, dude. Like, I feel like even like the people who are like, they haven't been paying maybe as close of attention as we have been paying, right? And maybe they caught on to what's going on just recently because a lot of shit's starting to really come out where people are like, dude, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people who were yelling at me a year ago are now writing me being like, I was going to ask you that too. I'm getting a lot of people who are like, man, Frisella, I thought you were full of shit, bro. I was wrong. This is crazy. How'd you know? Like, I'm getting a lot of that shit in my DMs. Like people who are like, fuck, I thought you were full of shit. Now I see it. You get any of that?
Lots.
Yeah, me too.
So the thing is, starting out, I got a lot of flack. I got a lot of persecution.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I always say, don't let the negative fear and the positive many.
Yeah.
And, you were a pioneer in this field, and it's not easy to stand out.
No.
And, there's times where I felt like I was the only one saying this stuff. And, but then, thousands of people came in, sent me letters to my office. I can't tell you, the messages came from all over the world. It was the craziest thing.
Dude, and I would say that the positive support that I've received has been far, I would say 1,000 to 1 compared to the negative.
100%.
Yeah. And so that's what you guys need to understand too. Like we build this is the same thing that keeps people out of getting into business. You think everybody hates you and everybody is going to make fun of you and everybody's going to laugh at you. No, 1 or 2 motherfuckers are, and the rest of the people are going to say, that's fucking awesome. And that's what you guys have to understand. You're afraid I know what's happening right now. We have everybody has like 1 or 2 super far, like compliant people they know who are super loud and super active. And that's the left's agenda, by the way. Okay. And I'm not trying to be a partisan person because I've always considered myself a moderate, but I've been pushed towards more conservatism now 100%. Like I am far more conservative now than I was a year ago just because the fucking goalposts have moved so far over to the left.
Super polarized.
Yeah, bro. And like, I'm not down with that shit. Like, I'm more of a like, hey, you kind of do what you got to do and I'll do what I got to do. But now we're getting to the point where that's infringing on our ability to even live. And it's starting to make me understand the importance of standing firm in your beliefs and actually not saying, oh, well, I don't care what anybody else does. No, I fucking do actually care now. And that's what needs to happen is you guys who have been passive, you guys who have allowed, your cousin or your so-and-so who's been super, left and shame, because that's the technique they all use is shame, shame, shame. I can't believe this. You're a bigot. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a racist. You're a this, you're a that. You know what? Fuck off. Like, dude, fuck off. Like, and that's what we all need to get to. If we all get to that, then there's no power of these people. Like, hey, I'm going to do me. Fuck you. And that's that, dude. Go ahead.
There's only power if you allow them to have power.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen, I don't give a fuck who you fuck. I don't care what you do in your house. You probably heard more F-bombs today than you've heard in probably in the last 5 years. I was sitting there thinking, I read about this, man.
I know. I was like, I was going to have my kids like, listen, I'm like, oh man, this might be a little bit older.
I was, because your pictures are showing I'm in the conference room today and you got to understand, like I live like minute to minute to my schedule. So I don't know who's coming in or whatever. So I'm doing my little homework and I'm looking at this picture. I'm like, man, this guy's like the all-American guy. He lives in Nebraska. He's got a golden retriever. He's got a white picket fence. You know what I mean? Like Omaha, somewhere in middle America. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, he's heard 42 fuck bombs in the last 37 seconds.
I've heard a lot. Yeah, it's good.
His wife's going to be like, who were these animals? Dude, he's going to be like, I really liked them though.
Joe. Next show, I want an F-bomb tracker.
Yeah.
You just got to click it.
I like it. Right. I was real tempted to drop like a swear word.
You would say it, bro.
I was like this. I might just do it because I was walking out of Lowe's and there was a mask on the ground and I pushed my wife out of the way and I said, watch out, there's sheep shit.
Hey, welcome. He's in.
Yeah, I'm in. So, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I got a
so
minivan.
More street cred now.
Oh, dude. Man, all I know
is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, look, guys. Here's the thing, man. It comes down to what I said in the last episode too. We all have to share this big piece of property called America, right?
Amen.
Like all these things that are happening through the media, the things they're telling us. If it's not backed by actual statistics and data that shows this, like that, and I'm not talking about the data they put on the news. I'm talking about you actually going out and finding the actual data of these problems they say are these huge issues. If we have to start understanding that their goal is for us to not get along. It's for us to argue. And why would they do that? It's a shell game, dude. Hey, watch the show. And they dip in your pocket over here. All right. This is all about money. And this is all about power. And it's all about control. It's all about the evil shit that, we like to think doesn't exist. And we're all getting a crash course that, no, actually it exists. And it's pretty powerful. And we need to come together and stand up for what's right. Dude, if someone wants to get the vaccine, okay. If you think that's good for you, okay. I personally wouldn't take something that, I don't know, never got tested and was rushed into this and that. I'm not comfortable with that. And everybody should be respecting that. But the problem is that we are so far apart now where, and that's the plan, where they're wanting us to turn on each other and say, like I said a minute ago, those guys are the danger. They're the danger. They're the danger. I know it's not pretty. I know it's not, that's what they're trying to preemptively condition you to accept. And this has happened many, many, many times in the history before. And, I don't know how to get people to see it other than what we've been doing. You know what I mean? I have a little bit better of a feeling about things recently than I have had in a while. But man, this is it's a scary time.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
It's in powers that be are trying to divide the people.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be reminded time to time that you and I are the government.
Yeah.
We are the government.
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah. Not we the people are the government.
Right. And we have these corrupted politicians and these powerful people that are hindering our ability to get in these positions. I mean, I campaigned for Ron Paul back in 2011.
That's awesome.
And I saw so much corruption there.
Yeah.
It was unreal. I mean, they replaced Ron Paul delegates at their RNC convention with Mitt Romney delegates in a drop of a hat. They were reading a teleprompted, scripted vote.
Right.
And they said it was scripted to say that the ayes have it when it was supposed to be a vote, but it was scripted. and they replaced the Romney delegates, and nobody knows about that. It was censored, the media. Ron Paul should have won, and they stole it, just like Trump. They stole the election, and we got sleepy Joe Biden that he's had more votes in history.
Dude,
like the dude can't even make a complete sentence,
bro. And not only that, let's look at the real world evidence. When the guy goes to speak, nobody shows up.
Amen.
Dude, I use this in the entrepreneur world all the time. Yeah, motherfuckers might have more followers than me. Yeah, a lot of people, you hear me say this all the time. A lot of people got a bigger following than me, blah, 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 blah. But notice that when they go to sell tickets to their events, they're selling their tickets for 6 months. I'm selling mine for 47 fucking seconds.
Right. Dude.
I think that tells the story.
I just saw this one funny thing. It was a clip of Joe Biden's Facebook page, right? And so, like, unlike Instagram, when you like something on Facebook, it shows you, oh, you got 2 million likes, loves, and all of that. But then they're
all laughy faces.
It's like 1 million of laughy faces. I'm like, fuck, man.
Dude,
you probably saw that.
I will say this, in all fairness, there's a lot of people on the right side making up fake shit too. Like it's been, I have been disappointed with some of the things I've seen from the right, but I also understand the necessity of some of the things that have happened. Like I see cancel culture completely flipped now. Like where it's like, it's no longer all these left people canceling right people. It's all the fucking American right people, patriotic people canceling these left people, which I think needs to happen temporarily just to prove a point. But we can't live like that. That's not a good way to live, and we have to at some point remember where we live and that the freedoms exist for no matter what you believe, right? We open discourse, open discussion. That's how problems get solved. And we've been conditioned over the last, I would say, 12 or 13 years since social media really became a thing for everybody to just attack each other when we don't agree, and I believe this has all been purposefully orchestrated. I mean, if we look back at how Facebook operates, back in the day, we would have conversations, right? You would say, hey, I think the sky's blue. And somebody below would say, I think the sky's hazel. And then somebody will be, no, it's definitely blue. And you'd have this argument thing. Now what you have is one negative comment and they allow people to like it, which perpetuates the trolling type disagreement behavior.
It reinforces it.
Because now you're not saying things to constructively solve a problem. You're saying things to get the likes and to get the attentions, which divides people further apart than what they naturally would be. And I truly believe that has been engineered on purpose for that to happen. I truly believe that our communication has become more divisive because of the tools that they've created for us to communicate. All right. We've removed the art of conversation and debate and replaced it with attention. What can I say to get the attention? And guys, that is not going to end well for anybody. And by the way, if you participate in this cancel culture shit where you're piling on people, especially like I see this, a business makes a mistake and then their customers go fucking insane. People make mistakes. And guess who else makes mistakes? You do. I do. All of you do. We all make mistakes. And I believe one of the primary teachings of the Bible is don't judge people, right?
He who is without.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you guys don't understand that when you contribute to this, eventually it's going to be your turn in the gauntlet and all your secrets and all your mistakes and all your shit's going to be out there for the world to see. You might want to give people a little bit of grace. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that's disgusted me in the last 12 months.
Right.
Like I understand we have to stand up, but for the truth of the matter is, I don't know. I feel a little divided on it a little bit. I have, because for the last 6 or 7 years, I mean, if you're a conservative of any sort, you've been getting blasted.
100%. But you said grace. We need some grace. Well, what does that word mean? It means undeserving love.
Yeah.
And it's like, I had a debate with a kid that's an extreme leftist. He's a complete liberal. And after the end of the debate, I said, I would die for your rights and freedoms to be able to speak.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree with you. Yeah. I said, I don't agree with you, but I would still defend your right and freedoms to be able to say what you want to say.
Absolutely.
And that's the world we need to come to. And, we are so divided, and that is an agenda. These people that are up these powerful people pulling the strings are dividing us with race division, with labels, anti-vaxxer, unvaccinated, whatever label they want to put on us, just to compartmentalize us, to control us, to divide us even more. And it's evil.
Yeah.
And it's really satanic. And we need to come together, love one another, and say, you know what, you are my brother. And, you know, we might have different beliefs and different interests. That's the way God made us. And we need to come together and say, there is an evil being pushed on the people.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at.
Yeah. Hating each other, guys, is evil.
100%.
No matter what you want to say.
Right.
No matter, you know, a lot of people, they you know, again.
But that's the thing. And like, it's so tough to do that. Like, I completely agree. Like, agree to disagree. I'll fight for the right for you to say it. Right. I get that. The problem is that I guarantee you that guy couldn't say the same thing. Right. And like, that's the point.
Well, they don't say the same thing. They say, I hope you fucking die.
They want us to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want us to and so like, if you are on the left, like, your beliefs are your beliefs, but at least give people that common decency.
They won't.
That respect.
They won't.
You know,
we're past that point.
DJ, it's going to end really, really badly.
I understand that, but that's why I said I'm conflicted on what I'm saying right now at the moment, because I would like to be more like I've always subscribed to the idea of like, you know, live and let live.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be good enough for them.
I think that's where this social Darwinism is going to take us. There will be people who are truly 100% morally good people, us, right? Who have those beliefs, and then those people that don't, that will not adjust to society, they'll fall off.
Well, the other thing too to remember is they have been manipulated to believe that they're the major majority of the population, when in fact they're only a small percentage.
Right.
And once these loud people start to realize that they've been screaming and yelling and fucking with the people who are actually the massive majority, they're going to shut the fuck up.
Right.
Because that's what's been happening. They've been manipulated to be empowered to be loud and be aggressive. And where are these people when Joe Biden shows up? Where's all these millions of people that show up?
Right.
You know, okay. You want to argue that he's more popular than Trump? There's no fucking way. But you want to argue that he's more popular than Obama? There's no fucking way.
100%.
Dude, I liked Obama when he got elected. I was like, fuck, dude, this guy's got it. Like, it was all charisma smoke show, but
he had it.
Yeah.
At least he had that.
And he had the people.
And you know what's
He's
funny,
good.
dude? You know what's
That
funny?
way.
Is I was rooting for him. I'm like, dude, you know what? I don't like what this dude says he's about, but people love this guy and he has the ability to bring people together. And that was inspiring to me. I was down with that. And he shit the bed. Fact. Okay. But we don't have that love happening anymore, where people they're not even rooting for the people to win. And guys, that's the equivalent of drilling fucking holes in your own rowboat. Okay. You get out in the middle of the ocean. This boat is your only way to survive. And you got another dude at the end of the boat that you don't particularly like. And so you start drilling holes in the boat. Like, that's what you do. And that's what we're doing as a country. And dude, that's really stupid. You know, I think most people agree with what I'm saying here too. Like, I just truly believe, maybe I'm fucking completely delusional, but I truly, from what I observe, and I've been all over the country, like this, in the last 2 months, I've been in multiple places of the country and watched and observed. Bro, I haven't seen any of these crazy people out there. Like, I don't see any of these crazy people. I don't see them. So they're taking a small voice of little centers of the country and making it seem like it's the entire country.
On the other side of the spectrum, I haven't seen a KKK mob. I haven't seen.
Bro, I've never seen somebody I've never seen a KKK mob. Now, dude, I am a white male.
Yeah.
Fucking
a handsome white male.
That's right.
From Missouri.
That's from Missouri. Okay. And I have never in my fucking life actually seen a KKK person. Ever. Never. And you would think, like, if anybody would see it, I'd fucking see it. Like, I'm here, I'm white, I'm in the middle of the country. Like,
got tattoos and a beard.
Like, dude, where, like, I don't see it. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I know it exists. There's shitty people on both sides. There's shitbag people out there that are truly racist. There's shitbag people out there
that are truly racist.
Yes. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
On both sides.
Racism
That's a whole nother thing.
Is a double standard.
Yeah. Judging someone by their skin, no matter what color their skin is is fucking racism.
Or wanting
Let's
to
put
be
that
judged.
to fucking bed right now. This bullshit about I'm browner than you, so I can't be racist. Fuck off with that shit. It's not
Or
true.
you're not brown enough, so you're Uncle Tom.
That's right. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Not only that,
Dude, this
DJ
man gets more racist shit than anybody because he doesn't go.
Who do you get it from?
Oh, black people.
Yeah.
No, that's
No. Yeah, but where's that come from?
White people.
That comes from liberal white people,
Yeah.
bro.
That comes
Liberal,
from liberal white women that are mad
privileged
at their
people
fathers.
who live in middle class America,
Yeah.
who don't have any real fucking difficulties, and they feel guilty for not having any. So what they do is they find a cause to root around
Point there,
and
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
scream about it.
Right.
Motherfuckers, just shut up. You don't. The data doesn't align with your narrative. It just doesn't. So
The first hole in the boat, your proverbial boat we talk about, was when they started taking God out of the schools.
yeah, and the Pledge of Allegiance too.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
when we tolerated that, like it was, I mean, looking back, like retrospectively, just taking a peek, it's like, well, I understand that not everybody believes in God. And so we'll tolerate the multiple.
We'll let the players
If you go to
out.
public school in
Yeah.
this country that the taxpayers pay for, you should have to do the Pledge of Allegiance every fucking day.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, and where was the outcry? I've been very heavily involved in my church, and I really had a hard time accepting the fact that all the churches conformed and complied
Yeah.
on Easter, one of the holiest days of the year. All the churches just closed down because they were afraid of this virus.
It even got worse
Isn't
than
that
that.
isn't that what Jesus told us exactly not to do?
Right. And the people that say, there was a guy at the city council, he's a young guy. He's like, well, Jesus would wear a mask. I wanted to go to him.
Oh,
And like,
fuck.
you see that meme where the guy's like holding the lady's eyes?
Yeah.
And like, read
Oh,
it.
from-
I was like, read Psalms 91.
Bird
Read
Box,
when he was
yeah,
a
yeah.
leper. Like Jesus healed the leper. They said, stay away from the lepers. There was, there was social distancing back in the Bible but Jesus went up to the leper and healed him. And he wasn't afraid of it. Did he have a mask on? So he violated the social distancing laws back in the day. But
Well,
he went up
Fauci
to
should write him a ticket, bro.
Right.
What?
But and then now you see these churches open up vaccine clinics. If your church is closed but open for vaccine clinics, find a different church.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to go to a wedding and first thing, Catholic wedding, I'm sitting there and, my wife's in the wedding. I'm no mask, I'm walk in and the first thing he says is the archdiocese rule is that we require you to wear a mask. And it was like a mass presentation, not just to me. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to get fucking escorted out here at this whole wedding. And we're going to see how this shakes down.
You know what? That's a point to be made.
That's right. And you
Right.
know what? He let it be. And you watched him, just kind of the story you were talking about earlier, start trickling down. Then everybody started taking them off because it was funny. The wedding party didn't have to wear one, but they wanted everybody else to wear one.
Oh yeah.
And I laughed and I'm like,
Sal, look, dude, this is like the term virtue signaling has been, people don't understand that that's all that is. All that is them not wanting to irritate the Susie homemaker middle-class white woman who's going to go on Facebook and do a fucking live with their fake outrage about how fucking outraged she was that you didn't wear a mask.
How unsafe she
Bro,
felt. Yeah.
I'm so tired of this fake outrage shit. Like, dude, fuck off. Like, until we all start saying that about this fake outrage that's going on in the world with every little thing. Dude, life sucks. Like, we can't even have comedians anymore because somebody's offended. Fuck, how about this? The 1% who are offended, you guys go all hang out in California. Be with each other. We'll take the rest.
yeah, you can keep the views. You
Yeah,
can have
dude.
the views.
You can
that's all right.
beachfront property.
Yeah.
All you resty people that want to see good jokes and have a good time with your buddies, you come on over here.
Come to St. Louis.
Yeah.
First Formville.
Dude, you know how much him and I make fun of each other, bro? About
fuck.
like it's all fucking day. And like we say all these jokes. And guess what? Some of them are about the color of our skin
Yeah.
and the things that we do and don't do. And he fucking makes fun of me for having being mayo. And like, we
And hot
fucking
dog water. Yeah.
yeah, like we talk about all this shit, dude. And like and it's funny because to us, it's no big deal.
No.
But then you get around somebody who's not used to it and like, dude, their face is like,
Right.
Oh, that was John in the locker room the other day.
Oh, man. Oh,
He was like this. Holy shit.
bro. Dude, we're supposed to be making fun of each
Right.
other. We're supposed to be laughing at our differences. Bro, if I'm not making fun of you, I don't even fucking like you. You know what I'm saying? Like man, Man, everybody wants to be cool. Come hang out with me. All y'all, the rest of y'all, go over there. Like, dude, I'm just over it, man.
I'm telling you, we can start our own village, bro. We can have our own little. We
got our own village.
I know, but we could like buy an old town, like for real, Washington, Missouri. We go down there and take it all.
Does DJ get to be the sheriff?
You can.
Or the chef?
You can be chef.
I feel like there's a better position. I just can't think of it.
The sheriff,
bro. You could have the barbecue spot.
No, let me do the hood housing.
You don't even get it.
No, I get the barbecue spot. HUD housing is better though. Come on, you like it.
You said it. You said
like it.
There ain't gonna be no HUD housing in our community.
Yeah, we're gonna be a
it's going to
self-sustaining
financially
community,
flourish.
bro. Wait till you see that athletic
Everybody
program.
everybody in our world's going to pay their tax.
Yeah, right.
And that way we won't need HUD.
Right.
And our kids are going to go outside and fight each other to settle some shit. They're going to learn what a punch feels like.
That's another thing. Let's be real, dude. When people started getting arrested for getting in a fist fight to settle a little disagreement and it started bringing guns and shit, the world went to shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there used to be a time in America where if two men had a strong enough disagreement, they talked. If it didn't work out talking, they might punch each other in the nose a couple times. And at the end of that, there's a bonding experience that says, hey, bro, I'm sorry, I respect you. And that's been removed from society. Like I know that sounds crazy. And I know people are going to say, you're condoning violence. Minimal violence sometimes. No, minimal.
Yes,
listen,
no.
That has solved issues for eternity. And now we've removed it from society and replaced it with litigation and being arrested. And I'm not saying go beat the shit out of everybody you disagree with, but sometimes it's fucking healthy.
Well, no,
100%.
when there's no consequences to an action, you just continue the action because there's no consequences.
And that's the problem we're dealing with.
Right.
Nobody's afraid of getting punched in the motherfucking face.
That's right.
Exactly right. You got, people say, yeah, it's a war on masculinity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like, I love what you said. Like people get away with so much saying stuff without getting punched in the mouth.
Bro, when I grew up and you grew up, and you, all of us, not you though, but he's only 25.
I know.
He's a young little dude here.
I fought.
But anyway, when we grew up,
you get fucking punched in the mouth.
Right.
and like it taught us, like the things you could say and the things you can't say.
Not saying that to South.
Yeah, dude.
You know where my line's at, I'll tell you that.
It's very clear that a big portion of the younger percentage of society has no idea where that line is. And like, some of y'all deserve a knuckle sandwich, bro.
Yeah, just like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the fucking mouth.
Hey, man, listen, every time I've got my ass kicked,
learned a lesson.
I might not have deserved it that time, but I deserved it. I got away with something over here.
Yeah.
It all averages out.
That's
It's
right.
like cost averaging.
That's right.
But the truth is like, dude, you brought up masculinity. Like you guys listening, man, you cannot be shamed into being not masculine. Like, and being masculine isn't about like having a beard or having tattoos or whatever the fuck they think it is. It's not even about that. It's about taking a fucking stand for what's right, protecting your family, providing for your family, looking out for your community. Has nothing to do with what they say it does. Like, dude, I've been called toxically masculine.
We're toxic as fuck.
Because of my beard and my tattoos. The fuck are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's just how I decide I wanted to look. It has nothing to do with my masculinity. Okay, there's lots of masculine or men out there that have no capability to provide, have no capability to protect, have no capability to look out for their community. They have beards and tattoos, bro. There's a whole bunch of them. All right. And they usually got like a little bun up here. All right. It's the truth. It's the fucking truth. All right.
Red shoelaces.
They're drinking something with soy in it. All right. Let's be real.
Right.
But the thing is, guys, is like you cannot be afraid to be what God made you to be. And our role in society is men. It's to do things that women can't do and children can't do and look out for their well-being and our community's well-being. And America needs to return to that. It's not about white supremacy or male supremacy. No, it's about fulfilling our role in a functioning society. And dude, that cannot be, you cannot calm that because you're afraid that someone else wants you to be something else. First of all, you're going to be miserable. Second of all, you're going to be confused. All these young men are confused, very confused. Okay. And then third of all, the role of our society is vacated where there should be men, and it's causing a whole bunch of shit on the back end to happen. And by the way, that's by design. That's a cultural design tactic of a communist insurgency. Okay. If you go to China right now, they're teaching their young men to be fucking warriors, to be men. Why would they make our men weaker and their men stronger? Think about that. Like, dude, we are the most vulnerable we've ever been, as far as I know, to being ruled over by another country. And that's getting lost in the equation. I've said this for years. Do you guys understand that they don't see us the way we see us? They don't see Black American, Black woman, white woman, gay man, this, that. They don't see those labels, bro. They see us all the same, Americans. And if we don't start seeing ourselves all the same, they're going to come fuck with us because of that. It's very simple. It's very simple. We are weak right now because we look at each other and we say, well, you don't represent it. Motherfucker, that is not even a real problem. That's not even a real problem. We're making up shit to weaken our communities because they're telling us to. And you're going to find out the hard way that it's not for our benefit, whether that happens tomorrow or 6 months from now or fucking 6 years from now. Men have to be men. Okay. And if you're a gay man and you decide that you want to date another man, that doesn't remove you from your obligation to society. There's plenty of gay men that are very masculine. Okay. I'm not saying we have to do this or that or this. I'm not trying to intrude on your rights or whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. But we cannot allow society to keep us from fulfilling our obligation to society. And that's what's happening right now. It's very, 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 very scary. You know, I mean, dude, if China came in today and started fucking attacking us and rolled troops over there wouldn't even be a fight. There wouldn't even be a fight.
It's just, I love Chinese.
That's what would be on the news.
Chinese food is actually pretty good.
No, but the headline would be China hand delivers their gourmet cuisine to America. Bro. They're so sweet. Like, that would be the fucking news if they rolled fucking tanks across the border. China's here to help us.
Biden writes into law, every major city has to have a Chinatown. That's what it would be.
Fuck, man.
Closing thoughts, Doc?
Well, I wanted to come here to inspire your listeners to be proactive in this fight. You know, the opposite of courageous isn't being a coward. It's really conformity.
Yeah, and indifference.
Indifference and conforming, and we need to take a stand and come together. I think that was just well said. And I'm glad we ended on that. We need to come together. The people that are in masks and the people that believe this, you're not my enemy. You're not our enemy.
No.
We need to come together and realize that this is much bigger than a pandemic. And if we learned anything from this, the CDC or pandemic emergency does not supersede our inalienable rights of the Constitution. And being a patriot doesn't mean that you love your government. It means that you love the people and you love your country. And that's what being a patriot means. And no, I've been labeled as all the labels you can imagine, right wing, white supremacist, whatever you want to label me. But really what I care for is the truth and care for the people. And right now the soil for the truth is rich. And the people are starving for what we have to offer. And that's why I came here, time away from my family, my kids, to plant the seeds of truth, because I know people are starving for it.
Well, look, man, first of all, I've been wanting to get you on the show for a while, so I really appreciate you coming down and being on the show. The second of all, thank you for doing what you're doing, man. Like, it's a beacon of hope. And I know there's probably a lot of times where you've been like, man, is this worth it? Or is this, why do I have to do this? Why is it me? I don't know why, but you're doing good things and the world's going to be a better place because of what you're doing. And I know that you know that, but I personally greatly appreciate it. And any of you guys out there who are doing your little parts, I know you might not be getting millions of views and you might only be getting 2 views or 3 views, but guess what? Those 2 or 3 matter. Mm-hmm. And your little conversations that you're having with your neighbors and your family and your friends, where you say, hey bro, I don't really think this is good. And you have a little productive talk. That's what matters right now. Okay. It's not be quiet or Susie from PTA is going to blast us on fuck Susie. Okay. This is more important than that. This is about your kids. This is about, like Dr. Tapper just said, about us coming together as Americans And I agree with you, dude. If you are doing all these things, let's say you got the vaccine, you believe this the whole time, blah, blah, blah. You're not my enemy. I'm not mad at you. Like, but what I am saying is that we have to logically assess whether or not we're being lied to or not. And none of the things that would connect these dots to say that this was true, the dots are not there. And we have to be smart enough and courageous enough to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not okay. Okay. And that goes for all these little issues that all of whatever it is, that you have a problem with that's going on, because from what I could tell, maybe you're okay with masks, but you're not okay with vaccines. Maybe you're okay with vaccines, but you're not okay with masks on your children. Whatever the fuck it is, fucking say something, dude, because it's all going to help us get to a point where these people, the government, the top of the top, the people who do not give a fuck whether you personally live or die, okay, do not have power over us, because we do control the power, and they do everything that they can to remind us that they are dictating to us. And we need to start doing things that remind them that that's not the case. We dictate to them. We elect them. We choose them. And that's the truth. You have Joe Biden on TV saying, we are the people. No, you're fucking not the people. You are not the people. You are 500 or 600 people. For how many people live here? 330 million? You're 500 or 600 people. Think about that. There's 330 million people in this country, most of which agree that America's pretty awesome. The ones that don't understand what it's like to be anywhere else, right? A lot of people say, oh, well, Trump was a tyrant. You're fucking crazy, dude. You're just buying the pizza they fucking served in front of your face. Look, dude, we live in the greatest country of all time. And still, even at this point in time right now, we are the most free place ever. But that's going to change if we don't start seeing each other as Americans and stop seeing each other as all these little segments that they purposefully shove down our throat so that we fight each other. We have to come together. We have to get together and say, dude, I love my freedom. I love my fellow man. I love this country. I love the opportunity it creates. I'm appreciative of it. And if there are things that need to be improved, if we come together, guess what? Those things can be solved. But the reason things that you think can't be solved aren't being solved is because we aren't together. And you're over there saying, fuck you. And we're over here saying, fuck you. Fuck you, Tony.
Yeah. Fuck you, Ezekiel.
Yeah. Like, dude, we have to be smarter than that, guys. And I don't know, man. It's looking better. It's looking better. It's looking more promising. And I don't know. I don't know what I think.
Doc, where can we find you at?
Well, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, but on social media, I'm just dr.bentapper on Instagram for the time being. I'm going to be probably on there for only a short time because the powers that be don't like me on there.
Yeah.
They've already took out a lot of the people in the disinformation dozen. And so it's just a matter of time. But, you can basically, I'm not, like I said, don't do this for publicity, but, Omaha, Nebraska is where my practice is at. We are doing a documentary here we're raising funds for the documentary, but, and if people want to help us with that, they can go to find us online, on my website, but they can call the office to donate too. But we have, a documentary called The Time Is Now, and we're hopefully, going to get that out in the next couple of months, but we have a lot of, just some phenomenal stories that are going to shake the world. People that have, the vaccine injury, like Angela was the head nurse of the surgical unit down by Arkansas, and she had these reactions, and she's in a group chat with like 20 or so other nurses, and they all had the same issue from the shot, and they're all willing to be on camera for us. But basically, yeah. So right now I just tell people to go to my Instagram account, dr.bentapper.
Let me ask you this one last question. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
With
just like, how do you see this situation progressing or resolving? Or
so,
like, if you like, I'm just asking for your opinion.
Right. So this is so much bigger than a virus.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
Because like I'm trying to on a grassroots level wake people about the testing and try to get them just to open about this. Like once you convince someone like, okay, there's so many flaws in the virus. Okay, then we zoom out, big picture.
Right.
If you get the big picture, everything else will follow. So why is this happening on a global scale? because that's what we have to ask ourselves. Why is this happening on a global scale? We are literally at a war foot because, I like to just be with my family and relax and pretend like nothing's happening. But in my soul, I know there is a war foot happening.
I agree.
We are at a war foot that involves you, all of us. That's why it's important. I don't care if you're left or right, black, white, Asian, gay, whatever you want to say. We need to come together as Americans and realize that we have a war at hand here and our freedoms are about to be lost. Freedom isn't safe, but it's the safest thing we have. And we need to come together and realize that this fight involves our children's children. Because communism, globalism is at our hand here. Klaus Schwab is not our friend. Bill Gates is not our friend. These people at the World Economic Forum, they're pushing a global agenda right now, and we're being duped. They're printing money more than ever before. We need to end the Federal Reserve because they're diluting our dollar, and it's going to cause major problems down the road. And we are living in this bubble right now, this grand illusion right now that we're very comfortable. Like, hey, things are kind of volatile right now, but just let's focus all the attention on the vaccine and it's a smokescreen. It's all smoke and mirrors. When you see the media talking about, hey, focus on the vaccine, all this stuff, I go, what's happening behind closed doors? That's what's happening. That's what Corona is. It's a giant Trojan horse to steal our rights and freedoms and control the people on a global scale. Not just this. This is globalism being pushed on American soil. And Americans need to realize that and wake up and say, oh my gosh, we're not going to tolerate that. Because this is what we stood for back in the day. This is what my grandpa fought for.
This is what our grandpa fucking died for.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah.
Freedom isn't free. Freedom isn't safe, but it's the safest thing we have. Benjamin Franklin stated that those that are willing to sacrifice freedom for temporary security will lose both. Not only lose it, but they don't even deserve it because they're just been conforming and complying to this garbage nonsense. And that's why I've been telling people, if the people that cannot see this, you might have the eyesight of an eagle, but the vision of a clam. We need to wake up and fight for this and be proactive because our freedoms are at stake here. This is so much bigger than a virus, 100%. They're using this as a way to come in and steal our freedoms and rewrite legislation and really take away our rights and freedoms.
Bro, amen, man. I appreciate it so much.
Told my teacher, dumb bitch, I'm going to get millions. Watch this. In the project living, spoke it till existence.